In today's workshop, we will discuss the research question. Now, before we do that, we need to address something else. What is a question? Now, this may be a simple statement, but it is crucial for us to understand what a research question really is. A question is a statement, a sentence, arranged in a way that will draw out information. When you ask a question, you are expressing interest in the information the answer will provide. That interest may be out of curiosity or out of need. Now, most questions have an answer, whether the person being asked knows it or not. The only thing that the individual has to do is look it up. Once the answer is retrieved, the person will provide the one asking with the information necessary to satisfy their inquiry. Now, did you catch that? We said most questions have an answer, whether the person being asked knows it or not. The specific information is there most of the time. But what happens when the specific information to answer the question is not there? Well, you got it. You have to research. Then, what is a research question? It is a question that may not have a specific answer, and it will require diligent investigation on the topic, or even the test of existing theories to gather information and design an original answer. The goal of the research question is to expand the knowledge on the topic, or in some instances, create new knowledge. Now, how do I develop the good question, the good research question that professors ask in their syllabus every quarter? Consider these things. A good research question needs to be clear. It offers sufficient clarity for the audience to grasp its intent without requiring further elaboration. A good research question needs to be succinct. The question is not the paper, so it should be written in the shortest, most clear way possible. The research question should be focused on a single problem or issue. Your central question should work together with your research problem to keep your work focused. If you have multiple questions, they should all clearly tie back to your central aim. Your research question also needs to be researchable. There should be sources, primary or secondary, from which to gather information. A good research question needs to be answerable within the time frame and practical constraints. Make sure you have enough time and resources to do all that research required to answer your question. If it seems you will not be able to get access to the data you need, consider narrowing down your question to be more specific. Now, it needs to be more specific enough to be able to answer thoroughly. When you develop a research question, the main problem that most of us find is to be able to narrow it to the point that we don't become concerned with how long our paper is turning out to be. So when you think of a question, go back to what we said at the beginning. It should be written in the shortest form possible. Now, a good research question should be complex enough to develop the answer over the space of a paper or thesis. If you can answer the question through a single Google search, a book, or article, it is probably not complex enough. A good research question requires original data synthesis, original data synthesis of multiple sources, and original interpretation and argumentation prior to providing an answer. Finally, a good research question needs to be relevant to your field of study and or society more broadly. Your question should seek to contribute to the current dialogue within your field of study. Let me give you some examples of questions and then a better version of that question, meaning the original question you will notice will be broad and general. The better question you will notice is specific on one particular point. Question: what role does the book of Deuteronomy play in shaping Jesus's ethical perspective? Now, the better question would be, what role does the book of Deuteronomy play in shaping Jesus's ethical perspective on widowhood? Second example, question: what is the impact of social media on religious beliefs and practice? Now, a better, more focused question is, what is the impact of social media on the spiritual practice of worship? Lastly, question: how is it that King David could be a vicious killer and deceiver and yet write beautiful poetry in worship to Yahweh? Now, a better question: does the biblical King David fit the profile of an individual with mental health pathology, such as bipolar disorder? To conclude, here are some qualities that you need to keep in mind, you need to develop in order to write and come up with better research questions. Be curious, be inquisitive, be daring, be provocative, be honest, be mindful, be intentional, and be selfless. All these things will help you look for the concepts and the things that not only are new and original, but that they are also your contribution. They will become your contribution to the field of study, whether it is theology, psychology, missiology, and so forth. Well, I hope this very brief introduction to what a research question is and what a research question should do was helpful to you. And feel free to reach out to the Writing Center for any questions or any comments you may have. God bless.